Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 62 of the Galactic Window Space Podcast. My name is Nick, and sometimes when I play Pokemon Go, I am still known as the Orbital Alliance.
Hey everyone, I am Tan, known as Chasing the Milk.
And we're back for another episode of this Space and Astronomy Podcast. You guys, the Galactic Window, what the heck is it? It is the concept that Tan and I have created to tell stories about people and their unique views into our own galaxy. Because even though we all see the night sky the same way, we experience it, interpret it uniquely and in a special way. So the point of this show is to share that with all of you through the eyes of special guests, just like tonight. So we're glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in live here on YouTube, or perhaps listening in the audio format on your favorite audio platform.
Dang, Nick, that was a hell of an intro. I feel like every episode you just get better and better at these.
I'm leveling up, son.
I love it. I love that I can kind of just sit back and let you say stuff and I can just not do anything.
No, do something, man.
Oh, well, I mean, you said it pretty well. Everyone that's tuning in, this is a show about space, and we like to share stories of how me, Nick, and anyone else interested in astronomy, what that's like through our lens. And it can come in many different shapes. We've had a variety of very, very unique guests on here, but we all share one thing in common, and we just enjoy the night skies. So yeah, we are super grateful to be doing this show, and everyone that's here, we hope you guys learned something tonight, and surely we try to add value in every episode. So welcome on in.
Dude, and you were selling yourself short. Come on now.
Yeah, is that pretty good?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
Oh man, the transcript was moving pretty quick. I was trying to catch up.
Yeah. You got the teleprompter on right now?
Yeah, dude. I was like, oh, I can slow down.
Oh
right.
man. No, fantastic, man. Well, tonight the focus is huge. The focus of this episode has to do with last week. Dude, can you believe how lucky we all were? Basically, almost anywhere on the planet. It's just the craziest time to be alive last week.
Wait,
And
what
why
happened
was
last
that?
week?
Well, you don't know? You don't know, Tan?
Was it on Tuesday night by any chance?
It was on Tuesday night. That's right. So about a little under a week ago from yesterday, or from tomorrow, correction. We of course had some wonderful Northern Lights displays here in the Northern Hemisphere, and just Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis happening all over planet Earth.
It was a pretty
crazy.
gnarly show, and I mean, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, tonight's episode, we're going to talk about Tuesday night. Last time we had a crazy storm like that, from what I can remember, was the G5 storm last May. But in any case, it's just it was one of the most spectacular displays I've seen this year. So we're super excited to talk about that tonight.
Yeah, because obviously this is a common thing for some people if you live in the right place, but most of us don't, Tan and myself included. And I'm assuming many of you who are watching, getting to see Aurora is a rarity. It's something very unusual. Arguably, for a lot of people, it's something that most people don't experience at all, unless they go on a trip very intentionally to go see it at a northern latitude. So, this seemed like something that, hey, this happened for us, and most people in these crazy areas got to see it and experience it. But the thing is, I don't think those people know what they're seeing or how to prepare for it or how to interpret the news that's coming in. Maybe sometimes some are pulling out apps and they don't know how to read the data around it. And it's kind of this like, it's happening, but I don't know how to look at it. I don't know what I'm looking at. So we thought, let's bring on one of our dear friends to explain it, because he's an expert Aurora chaser, and that's what tonight's show is about. So we're gonna give you guys the true download from somebody who does know what he's talking about on this, so that the next time, if we do get lucky to have another show like we did last week, then you guys will be prepared. You'll know what to do, what to look for, and thus upping the excitement even more. So tonight's show is going to be special about Aurora.
I'm excited, man. Yeah, I'm just excited. That's all I got.
Yeah, right. So what do you say, Ann? Shall we?
Yeah, let's jump right in.
All right, here we go. Justin Anderson, widely recognized as High Hopes Aurora, is a renowned photographer and Northern Lights chaser from Manitoba, Canada. Known for his deep expertise and remarkable ability to capture the aurora at its most dramatic moments, Justin has guided countless people through unforgettable Northern Lights experiences. Justin is a returning guest to the Galactic Window, having previously appeared on episode 3 all the way back in season 1. And in 2024, I even had the chance to drive up to Canada to image aurora with him during the Perseids meteor shower. We are super grateful to have him back on the show again to help us take a closer look at the amazing aurora displays that we all experienced last week. Now, let's take a look through the Galactic Window with Justin Anderson. Welcome, Justin, back to the Galactic Window, sir.
That was an awesome intro. I have chills.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for having me back.
Oh, absolute pleasure. You know it.
It's
You
an
know
honor,
you're
man.
always welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
You are a veteran of the show, and obviously this is like the ultimate week to bring you back, you know?
Yes, Northern Lights is the main topic right now. Everyone's got Northern Lights on the mind, so it's a perfect week to talk about it.
I'm super excited. Last time you were on the show, it was just you two. So now, I'm in the mix here. So hopefully I won't throw any curveballs at you. But you know so much
Bring 'em on.
about the Northern Lights, and as much as I, I feel like I know a very very small amount, and I'm fortunate to have a platform where I can share with people these beautiful displays. But I was getting so many questions. People were asking me during my live streams of the Northern Lights, and I'm like, man, I only know so little. So super excited to have you on the show tonight, just so we can clear the air on some things and maybe educate some people for the future.
There's always more to learn with the Northern Lights. I mean, I'm always learning new things, and it's cool because it's such a community-driven aspect that we all work together for the main goal of having seen the aurora, letting other people see it. So at the end of the day, we all work together for the same common goal of seeing the aurora and understanding it better.
When you hear of these big solar storms that are kind of popping up, you know, we get to watch the solar data, these huge flares, and the anticipation of that data coming in over the day or 2 or 3 afterwards. But you know that the likelihood that there's gonna be people who've never seen aurora before getting to see aurora. But as an expert, as someone who gets to see it more regularly, how does it make you feel to know that more people get to experience it for the first time?
It's exciting, but also scary. I mean, a lot of people think of the Northern Lights and they think of the beautiful photos and the best part and the dancing, like what we've seen, right? They expect the brightest of colors. They expect the most, and it's a lot of just bringing them back down to earth and saying, this is what we hope to see, but we don't expect it every time, and that's where the name High Hopes Aurora comes from, right? We go out with the highest of hopes of hoping for the biggest show, best show you've ever seen in your entire life, but you don't expect anything, right? I like to say at the worst case scenario, you spend a night underneath the stars and look up and enjoy the sky. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good night too. But when there's a lot of excitement about the aurora and there's a lot of information flying around, such as, sometimes it's misinformation, sometimes it's good information. There's just so much information around, and it's not just about Northern Lights. I mean, everything is like that these days. It's just a matter of trying to make sure people understand, how they could see it, and hoping that people can experience it the best they possibly can. I'm often asked, can I see it in the middle of the city? I live on the south end of the city. Can I see it there? And I usually will say no, you want to get out of town. But then all of a sudden I'll get a reply saying, haha, you're wrong. I saw it south of town. I saw it in the middle of the city, right? And I'll just reply with, if you see it in the middle of the city, that's great. But imagine how strong it would have been if you were outside the city. Imagine how good it could have been if you were outside and you were in the darkest of skies, and really just trying to give the people the best possible chance to see the aurora, the best way they can. on active nights, like we saw Tuesday night, Wednesday night, I'll often get people commenting on, we have a community on Facebook, and I'll often get people commenting saying, I'm outside looking up and I don't see anything. And then other people are posting going, oh, it's going crazy right now. And it's just a matter of, sometimes people don't realize you have to go out and wait a few minutes and look up, and the aurora is not always dancing, and there's just so much knowledge that it's not just a common thing that the aurora is going to dance and be super colorful all night long. And if it is, that's great, but that's not the expectation. So it's just a matter of trying to make sure that people can go out and experience it the best possible way, and that they're not going to come home disappointed, because that's the last thing you want, is to go out and come home thinking that sucked, I don't want to go back out again.
Hmm. You probably have to have some level of like emotional agility, because there's sort of a pressure on people like you who are educated and can lead people in this experience, but knowing that you can't necessarily carry the burden of all their experiences. You can help guide them, but you can't be like, oh well, it's my fault you had a bummer night. You've probably gotten pretty good at letting that go, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the good outweigh the bad, but you might have 100 comments saying I saw it for the first time, thank you so much, but that one comment saying I didn't see anything that sucked is the one that will drag you down. But at the end of the day, if you missed it, it's going to happen again. You said it earlier in the show that if it happens again, it's not an if, it's going to happen again. The aurora 100% will happen again. We'll get a show that strong again. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So it's just making sure that people sometimes will be like, oh, I missed it, is it going to go again? And it might not, but it might happen tomorrow, it might happen a week from now, it might happen a year from now, it might be 10 years from now. There's just so much unknown, but the one thing we do know is it's going to happen again. There's a guarantee the aurora will come back.
Hmm.
That's good. That's good news. I'm already ready for the next one.
Me too.
But I'm glad you touched up on that. There's a lot of new people that see the aurora for the first time. What's another misconception that you want to clear up?
The biggest one is a comment I just saw through the thread, or the comments on the side here, is, are there seasons to the Northern Lights? And I often get this one. And it was a lot more when we were first starting out, the community aspect to it. And I haven't seen it very recently, but it is a very common question of, oh, it's the summer, the aurora's not out. And oh, it's, summer's only visible in the winter months. It's, best seen in the winter months. That's completely false. The weather, on Earth, and the time of year on Earth does not affect the Northern Lights. There's a couple small factors that during the equinoxes it could be a little bit better thanks to a certain effect, but that doesn't necessarily mean that on June 21st you can have Northern Lights, on December 21st you can have Northern Lights. The only difference is if the sun's up all day long in your area, like Fairbanks, Alaska, Northern Canada, Norway, if the sun's up 24/7, you're not going to see the Northern Lights. So that's why regions like Alaska, Norway, all those really high where you go for the aurora because it's a near guarantee, there's an aurora season. So you have to go in the winter, the fall, the shoulder season sort of thing. You can't go in the summer. But for us here in Manitoba, and all of the United States, really, a show like what we saw last Tuesday on the 11th, that will be visible if we have a show like that again on June 21st. Down here, we still get a night sky, even on the shortest day of the year. So really, you might have aurora in the middle of the summer. You might have aurora in the middle of the winter. The climate doesn't change, or the time of the year doesn't change. The only thing is, if it's cloudy or the sun's up 24/7, you're not going to see the aurora. So, there's a couple of things, like Manitoba has certain times a year that, like, this is when you want to see the aurora because that's the clear time, whereas this is kind of the cloudy time. But ultimately, everything is all based on just, it's all based on the sun, and it doesn't matter what season we're in.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so glad you cleared that up, because I've lost count of how many times in my head I would say, oh, I really want to travel up here during the winter to get Northern Lights. And I now know I can just go anytime. Thanks for clearing that up. I've always thought the same thing, is like only winter for some reason.
And we do call it Aurora season. Like, that's not a lie. Fairbanks is a very common. Norway's very common. Iceland. They all call it Aurora season. You know, oh, it's the end of the Aurora season, or the Aurora season's kicking off. But really, it's just because that, you know, night sky's gone. And then, like, for Churchill, which is in Manitoba, it's known for polar bears, but it's, you know, got great northern lights as well. We say that Aurora season as well, because Aurora season's over, because it does get really bright, and you're gonna have a very tough time. On June 21st, you can go out and maybe see the aurora, but you're not going to be seeing a very good show. It's going to be pretty tough to see through the sky. But you know, we do call it Aurora season in January until the end of April or so, just because that's the time of year that it's going to be clear and cold. And I mean, those cold minus 30 degrees Celsius nights are so cold, so clear, that those are great nights, but you're going to freeze. So I love aurora chasing in the summer, but ultimately the winter definitely is good too, because you have so much darkness from 6 o'clock at night till 8 o'clock in the morning. Whereas in the winter or in the summer, you have from midnight until 3 a.m. sort of thing. So that's the other part of it too, is, you know, just that time frame. You don't have as much time.
Dude, I remember when I came up to visit you just a little over a year ago, and that was the furthest north I've ever been on planet Earth. And it was a really cool experience to be there, you know, kind of in late-ish summer, and seeing that, you know, the sun go down at 10 something p.m. Which was wild. I mean, I live near Chicago, for those who don't know, and, you know, being in Illinois, you know, the late in the summer is, you know, 9:15 p.m. Like the sun's down, but it's like still kind of, you know, dusk. That's pretty late, but like just being that much further north in these places where aurora are, you know, it's very true just how that shortness of light and the impact of the sunlight giving you just that it's such a tiny window to have to see aurora. It's a really, really interesting thing, and I got to catch it firsthand, you know. But it does make for it cool to be like, hey, it's like 10:20 and there's still daylight out. That's pretty awesome. You know? You can still party.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was in August too. I mean, in June 21st, you're gonna have pretty much from like 11:45 until like 11:45 is like sunset-ish, and then, you know, around 2 a.m. you're gonna have sunrise. So of course, sunrise, you still have light an hour after sunrise, or an
Mhm.
hour before sunrise and an hour after sunset. So really, you come out with like there's always going to be that glow of sunset sunrise on the one sky. So
Right.
which could be really cool. I mean, some of my favorite memories are chasing northern lights and mid-June, mid-July, and of course the auroras going crazy overhead and to the north. And then to the north, you also have that sunset color all night long. So it's really cool to experience that. But if the aurora is the one thing you want to see, the best thing to do is give yourself the most amount of time to see it. So that means middle of the winter, when it's going to be clear, so that way you can have, you know, from 6 p.m. until, you know, sunrise.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
I highly recommend it if you get a chance to, you know, experience those northern Manitoba, or even northern anywhere really, as long as it's inside that oval of where you're going to still have a little bit of darkness. And seeing the sunset, sunrise all night long and watching the aurora is an experience that I wish everyone could have, because you're
Mhm.
also in a t-shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
man, I love it. Justin, I kind of want to just take a step back just for a
Mhm.
second. So I want you to kind of paint the canvas for me. I still am new to the Borealis, and I just want to know exactly like what the heck is happening. What causes Borealis? Why do we see so many colors? If you can kind of sum it up in a nutshell and just simplify it as best as you can, I think that would be greatly appreciated, because I still have no idea what's happening.
Absolutely. There's a lot of videos online too that explain it and like go into depth. And there's so much that you can really go into depth on. But as with everything, sometimes all you need is the Cole's notes, right? That overview. Long story short, the sun is constantly in every single direction, up, down, east, west, like every single direction, it's pushing out particles. Those particles don't travel super fast, you know, compared to the X-rays that we see, or the light speed that we see. You know, the heat is fast, that's light speed. However, the particles that are being ejected at all times are going about 400 kilometers a second, which are quite slow compared in space terms. So as the sun lets off these particles, what happens is these particles hit the Earth. And because the Earth has a magnetic field, we have, thanks to our magnets in the poles, going back to like grade 4 science class, but we have the Earth magnetic field. What happens is those particles will hit our magnetic field. And if they were to hit us, head on with no magnetic field, it would burn everything on Earth. Like there would be no anything, right? Like we have life on Earth because of these magnetic fields. So as these particles hit our magnetic field, they get redirected into the poles. And as they get redirected into the poles, they go into our atmosphere and they kind of just linger throughout the atmosphere. Now, as these particles linger in our atmosphere, they start to hit different molecules in our atmosphere. And our atmosphere is made up of oxygen, nitrogen, helium, hydrogen, and so many other small little elements out there. But one of the main ones is oxygen, because we all use it to breathe. So as these particles are hitting all this oxygen, well, when a particle hits oxygen, it starts to glow green. And thanks to all these particles hitting us at all times, we have a green aurora. So the aurora is about anywhere from 80 kilometers. And I'm so sorry to the Americans. I'm Canadian. I don't know. I don't know it in miles, but the aurora is about 80 kilometers all the way up to about 1,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. So above where the ISS is, above all that. Or is it below? I don't remember. Anyways, I think it's above.
It's
but
above.
yes. So these particles are interacting in our atmosphere, and there's so many of them, right? They're constantly bombarding us, and that's why all the time we get aurora. And there's just a oval around the top of the Earth as well as the bottom of the Earth where we have aurora borealis, aurora australis, and they just kind of linger there. And on a normal day with regular amount of aurora, regular amount of particles, they just kind of linger there, and they get a little bit too much, and then they start to kind of dance, which we call a substorm. And then they start to recover, and then they kind of go back into dancing and then building and then recovering. And it's just kind of a natural system. And all it is the atmosphere saving us, our magnetic field saving us. None of that radiation gets down to us. Like we're completely safe down here. But now, as the aurora as the sun lets off a certain amount of particles, the sun can let off what's called a sneeze, basically. It's a sneeze. You could also call it a fart, but I like to call it a sneeze, where the sun will basically just let off a bunch of particles in every direction. And it's about 180 degrees, right? Like it's not going to be 360 degrees around the sun. But these particles are ejected, and it's completely random. There's spots on the sun which we can monitor, and there's a lot of really good scientists out there that do a lot of information sharing about this, kind of like watching sunspots and all these kinds of things. But long story short, the sun lets off this giant sneeze, and it could be facing away from us and we don't get anything, or it could be facing towards us and we get the full blunt of it, or we could be sitting off to the angle and getting just a little bit of it. And as the sun lets off this giant amount of sneeze, all these particles come fast, right? They get a lot faster. They hit our atmosphere. It's way more dense. It's way faster. There's just so many of them that our magnetic field's still doing its job. But because there's no room where the aurora normally sits, it pushes the aurora outwards and it goes away from the poles. And for that reason, it starts to favor, North America and Europe, depending on where the nighttime is. It pushes those particles away from us onto the night side of the Earth. And in that time, that's when you'll get these really strong shows like we saw last Tuesday. And then, the aurora will then start to get further away. That's when sometimes you're out there and you'll be watching the aurora and it starts to go from, oh, it's on the horizon to, oh, it's going overhead to, oh, it's behind us. And then it dances behind you. And then all of a sudden it starts to go towards, overhead and then back to the north. And it's just a constant ever moving, oval is what we call it. And the more particles we get, the better it is. There's so much more that can go into it as well. And I mean, we look at the magnetic charge of these particles. If it's positive, then the particles kind of bounce off the atmosphere and go away. But if it's negative, they kind of attract to our atmosphere, which for us, that's great for northern lights. If you for whatever reason don't want these particles hitting our atmosphere, if you're doing long range radio or any kind of GPS, that's where sometimes that gets to be bad and other people want it to bounce away and go away. But for us aurora chasers, we want that to be really negative and kind of coming into our atmosphere. So yeah, that's basically it. Just the sun lets off a giant sneeze. That's all that happened last Tuesday. And in general, a sneeze, as it happens, it takes about a day to 3 days, 3 days on average for it to hit us. And a fast one in about a day and a half, a slow one, 4 or 5 days. And of course, the sun can let off multiple sneezes. It can do so many other things, but there's the cold notes.
And when we observe these sneezes happening, we see them, but we don't know exactly if they're going to hit us or not until almost the last second, right? Can you tell us a little bit about the equipment that helps us interpret that data from the sneeze?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a natural phenomenon called a solar eclipse that kind of gives us that information. So as you look at a solar eclipse, you can actually, with your telescope and even your naked eyes, which is really cool to see, you can see these rays coming off the sun because it's dark, and now you can see these rays completely. All we do is in space, we have a satellite in front of, like, between us and the sun in a very equal spot. We call it L1. It's a safe spot where the gravity of the sun is equal to the gravity of Earth. So, of course, it's a lot closer to us than it is to the sun because the sun is so big. But this satellite, it sits there and it always is watching the sun. But what we do is we basically have a dinner plate and it blocks the sun. It's making its own eclipse. So we can see this as it does a sneeze. You can see if I'm sneezing towards the camera right now, you're not going to see as if it's a sneeze, right? But if I sneeze towards the camera and you have it in, super molecule level, and you see particles go everywhere like this, that means that it's probably going towards you, or I'm sneezing that way. But if I'm sneezing and I kind of go this way and all you see is a little bit of particles like that, well, then you know that it's probably going to miss the camera. In this case, the camera is the Earth. Now, if I do this and I kind of sneeze like that, well, then okay, there's going to be a partial impact. So we use this dinner plate in the way of this satellite, and we're able to kind of monitor and see an idea about whether or not it's going to hit us. Is this going to be a really good impact? And of course, there's so much going on between the sun and the Earth that it's a highway of all these particles. Well, if there's slow moving particles, sometimes that can slow it down. If there's fast moving particles, sometimes that can help, and it can kind of clear up the interstate for us, right? And there's just so much going on where this kind of goes back to a question earlier about a lot of people get excited because they see a sneeze and they go, oh, it's, we call it a full halo. It's coming towards me. But then all of a sudden it doesn't actually hit us. We don't see anything, or it's 3 days late, and by that time it's too slow. It doesn't really do anything. A lot of people go, well, how did that happen? Well, there's just so much going on between the sun and the Earth that there's a lot of unknowns that, we can see it. The sneeze is happening and, it's going to be a direct impact. But again, if that sneeze is going along and it goes into the positive, well, now all those particles are going to go, whoo, gone. Sure, it's going to be fast, but it's going to just bounce off the atmosphere and not come in. Whereas if it rotates and does this, then you're going to get a full negative and it's going to come into the atmosphere. And we have a lot of different satellites up there that tell us the speed, the density, the magnetic field, and so many other different things up there as well that we can read, the temperature, and just a lot of different detail. And there's also multiple satellites in case one fails, and they're building new ones. But ultimately, we had back in 2021 was a very eye-opening show for a lot of aurora chasers and also a lot of aurora scientists like myself, where we're called citizen scientists. Like, I'm not a full-blown scientist. I'm a citizen that likes to study it. But we had a show where it was a full-blown sneeze. We were like, oh, this is great. It's heading right towards us. Get your cameras charged up. 2 to 3 days from now is going to be amazing. And we were all getting ready, and we we're all planning the parade to see the aurora, before it even happened. And in that time, there was actually a probe that crossed in front between the sun and the Earth. And this probe got a full reading of all this data that we need to look at. And we're like, oh my goodness, it's negative, and it's negative a lot. And these particles are so fast. And there's just so much good about this whole show that, oh man, like, guys, get ready. This is going to be the show of a lifetime. But then as it goes through space, as with anything, it rotates, right? This whole sneeze is just rotating as it comes along. Some do, some don't. But as it rotated, the probe was so close to the sun that it got a great view and was like, oh man, these are awesome. But then it rotated a full 180 degrees and it came and hit us at positive, and we're all sitting here going, this is exactly what we saw, but opposite. And we're all going, I've canceled my plans this night. What's happening? I drove way too far for this. So we all got really excited ultimately to be let down. And that's the beauty of the Aurora is you can expect be like, oh guys, this is going to be a huge show. And like we saw on Tuesday, did anyone expect to see those bright, vivid reds? Did anyone expect to see it go that far south? There's just so much unknown that's the beauty of it is we can't guarantee the Aurora and we can't guarantee that kind of show.
Wow.
Man. So yeah, that's I'll hand it back to you guys because that was a lot.
No, I was like, yes, the information. It's
so
much of it.
Also, we're quizzing every single person in here at the end of the show. So we hope you guys are writing that down.
Yes.
It's like an American Thanksgiving, but with Aurora.
Exactly.
Gosh, yeah. So obviously during these giant storms, and when the news picks it up, social media channels pick it up, and there's a lot of anticipation, even though we don't know until the very moment, essentially, that these might be a brilliant Aurora display. What would you say is your best advice for somebody who doesn't know anything about Aurora, but sees that headline come through on their feed that says Aurora is going to happen tonight? Go outside. What's your best advice for them if they know nothing?
Well, I mean, for those, we like to joke in the Aurora community that when those, big events are happening, those sneezes, as we call them, we do call them like CMEs, but it's way more fun calling it a sneeze. But when you see it come through the news saying the Aurora is going to be out tonight, we always say that, oh man, they jinxed it. It's not going to happen. Yeah. But as far as actual, you're sitting there going, I'm in Illinois, I'm in, North Dakota, South Dakota, wherever you might be. And that's probably the amount of states I know. But when you really want to sit there and you're like, I want to see the Aurora tonight. And I don't want to just go out and see it because the news told me. I want to really understand if the Aurora is going to be out. The best thing is the Aurora communities. And what I mean by that is Facebook. So far, Facebook is really the best one for this. TikTok, Instagram, there's still quite a few different other, social medias out there where, the Astro Nerds are really good on TikTok back in the day. I don't know if they're still going, but, there's a lot of people involved. But with Facebook, there's so many people. So what I mean by the Aurora communities is every single region that has Northern Lights has a Northern Lights Facebook group. And what I mean by that is like here in Manitoba, we have Manitoba Aurora and Astronomy because we wanted to include the astronomy world. And that's the group that I run. I manage it, take care of it all. And that's like my baby. Well, in Canada, you have Alberta Aurora Chasers, Saskatchewan Aurora Hunters, Ontario Aurora Chasers. Each region, there's like North Dakota, South Dakota Aurora Chasers. There's so many different regions that have a group of Aurora chasers. And there are people like myself, how we really love the Aurora and we want to share it. And, I could sit here and tell my family the Aurora is going to be out again, but they probably would hate me because they get really tired of that message. So what we do is we post on Facebook. We post, hey guys, the Aurora is going to be out tonight. And yeah, so just wherever you might be, just type in Northern Lights or Aurora and your region. Even astronomy groups are pretty good for that as well. Granted, they're a little bit more focused on astronomy, but there's 9 times out of 10 Aurora chasers for your area. And if not, find the closest region and just join them. Like we have people from North Dakota in our Manitoba group. And for anyone who doesn't know, North Dakota is right below us on the other side of the international border. So even if you're not in that area, you can kind of figure out depending on where you are. So like, for example, we'll use Nick and myself for an example. If Nick didn't have anything else, he's in Illinois. Well, if he didn't have anything else in his area for Aurora chasing groups, and there was nothing, which there isn't, there's a lot in your area. he could join a Manitoba Aurora group. And on nights when the Aurora is out, each group does it unique, their own different way, because it's own managed and taken care of. But it's all groups of just, people that just love the Aurora. We're all free, like we're all volunteers. What we do is, like in our group, we create what's called a thread, and it's just a post at the very top of the group. It gets pinned at the top, so it's the first thing you see, and all it says is, "Hey guys, the Aurora might be out tonight." Giant chance of Aurora tonight. Aurora data looks great, or not so great anymore. Sorry. What we do is we post in there, and the goal for it is so that there's two different aspects. Three, I guess, if you really want to. One, there's a lot of data that you can look up and read, but who cares, right? If you're just wanting to go take the kids, go and see the Aurora, you don't need to understand what the BZ does, what the data exactly is doing, and when the substorm is going to happen, right? That's not the point of this. If you want to just go see pretty lights but don't care enough to look it up,
no.
I don't drive my car and have to know exactly how the engine works. Well, no, I just get in the vehicle, start the vehicle and drive. So the goal is to have ability that anyone who understands the data can get in there and say, guys, the Aurora looks, chances are really good right now. I'm looking at, data coming in from some satellites, and absolutely, I like right now, I'd recommend getting out right now. And then the other side of it is people that have no clue what the data does, but they just go into the backyard because they live in the middle of nowhere and go, yeah, the Aurora's out here. I'll show you guys right now. And someone will look at that and go, well, that was a photo north of Winnipeg. Well, yeah, the Aurora's kind of on the horizon north of Winnipeg. So, I'm in that region as well. I'm 2 hours away, but I'm kind of east or west from it. So it's not really worth it for me to go out. Or if someone takes a photo and says it's overhead for me right now, well, someone like Nick can then go and use that information and be like, well, it's overhead for Winnipeg. Well, that means it's probably getting close to on the horizon for me. And the more you see that information and the more you kind of see it in real time, you can then use it for, well, if it's overhead for Winnipeg, that means that I should see it. So my thinking is, okay, well, if someone in Winnipeg has it overhead or to the south, that's when I need to go, basically. And then we'll say, oh, that's overhead right now, but also it's going to get weaker. So, sorry, kind of, enjoy it while it lasts. It's going to end. Or like the Tuesday night, it's going to go all night, guys. Enjoy it. It just stay out. And if you can stay out, but don't think that if you're at home right now going, oh man, I missed it. We're there to say, hey, it's still out. And it's all just volunteers. So we have 80,000 people in that group, and anyone can get involved and say, hey, you don't need to be approved as a poster and as someone who's an expert. If you think you know enough to say it, then say it. And also the other side of it, the third aspect that we like to do is all I did, back in 2017 to 2019 was saw the Aurora and went, oh my goodness, this was so cool. I don't want to miss another show. So I started reaching out to experts in groups like these and started really just kind of seeing what happens with the data and, kind of trying to figure it out as I go on and really get involved. And I have people that'll message me going, hey, can you kind of explain this to me so that I can understand it? And now they're telling me how the Aurora is working, right? Like if you want to get involved and understand this better to help other people or help yourself, that's where these communities are really helpful. So really just three aspects of you want to not understand the data, you want to just take a photo and then tell people, or do you want to really understand it? So yeah, check out your local groups. They're your best bet. There is apps as well, which if an app will break down the Aurora viewing by a percentage, I immediately throw it away, because there's no real way to sit here and say I'm seeing 4% of Aurora. Either I'm seeing it or I'm not seeing it. So ultimately, like there's a few apps out there that just give you a percentage and say, oh, in 3 hours it'll be really good. Those are all just so false. I can sit here and say it's going to get better, but I can't say that in 3 hours it's going to be better than it was. So those groups are just your best friend.
Yeah. So I kind of want to like add something to it. It sounds like joining a community or some kind of group is probably one of the best ways that you guys can stay informed, but I'm going to make it really, really simple. I obviously am not an expert, but doing live streams of auroras, I found out this is the easiest way to just find out if you can see it or not. And you mentioned it earlier. It's literally just going outside and pointing your phone. I had so many
Yep.
people saying, "Oh, can I see it in my state? Can I see it from here?" I can't tell you that. These groups might not be able to tell you that. If there's a show going on or there's a possible showing going on, I promise you, you can get the best answer. You can get an immediate yes or no if you guys just go out and try taking a long exposure photo of the north. So some phones have like a night mode, but basically, if you just point your phone, it's gonna pull out the colors way more than your eyeballs do. So I just wanted to add to that. I think communities and joining groups are extremely important. But if you guys just want an immediate like, can I see it or not? Do the work. Go outside and point your phone. And what you'll realize is a lot of times your eyes won't be able to pick up the colors. Like you won't see anything, but as soon as you take a long exposure photo, like say anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds, boom, suddenly you have these greens and pinks. So to kind of recap, just go outside and point your phone and try taking a photo. For anyone that wants to know if you can see it or not during a storm, just go outside and take a photo.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, when we're driving down the road, like we live on gravel, so we drive down the gravel and kind of twisty turny. And there's times when I'll look at my wife and I'll be like, I think that's the aurora, because sometimes it's a little weaker and you can't really tell for sure. And I'll literally just pull over, grab my phone, and go snap, and it takes a 3-second exposure on an iPhone 15. And it just not even on a tripod, not even resting on anything. I've even done it just while driving, like just she takes a quick photo or I take a quick photo, whoever's not driving. And yeah, like you can see immediately if there's green in there or if there's a little bit of reds. Like you don't even have to pull over, do it safely, but you don't even have to pull over. You don't have to pull out a tripod or have anything proper. Like phone cameras are getting better and better each year. So yeah, you really just step out. Don't even have to step out the door through the window if you can.
Yep,
Man.
exactly.
So obviously you were saying it's hard to time the aurora perhaps with your schedule or the seasons, to be like find the right time to get traffic to see it. However, I think you seem to have an ability to time it with life events. Since you were last on the show, you've had some pretty significant life changes and you have some photo evidence to prove it. So I thought it'd be worth highlighting some of those moments. Do you want to tell us what's happened to you and your family since you were on episode 3 with us?
Yes. What was that? October of 23 I was on here?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
So shortly afterwards, I started designing and like fully designing, working with a company to design a engagement ring for my girlfriend at the time, and it actually has northern lights in it. So it's got gems with the aurora colors in it, green, blue, and purple. So it's directly underneath the main diamond, and it was just really cool to be a part of, and not just buy some cookie cutter and really get to see it all and pick out the diamond and all that. So I bought the ring, and this is something I haven't really shared a whole lot. So I'm gonna add this is like a first, really, like I don't hide it, but I don't really tell it publicly. Anyways, so I ordered the ring. I paid for it all. It was a month of designing it from a company in the States. I ordered it and UPS lost it. So
What?
UPS, yes, it got lost in the mail by UPS. UPS is going, UPS is going, oh, don't worry, give it 2 weeks, it might show up. And I'm like, this is an engagement ring. Like, this is pretty important, pretty expensive. A lot of thought went into this. And, I didn't know if it was insured and all that. Like, I wasn't going to get into that. I'm like, okay, this sucks. So then October 10th of 2024, that morning, we had aurora chances. Like the sneeze hit us and it was looking really good. So I'm sitting here in this room going, tonight would be a perfect night to propose, because I always said, whenever I'd post a photo of Jen, my now wife, and I together, people would always comment and be like, oh, is this the photo? Is this the engagement photo? And I would always tell people that the aurora has a scale from 1 to 9. And I was like, Jen doesn't, it was only a 5. Jen deserves a 9, right? Like, and the last time we had a 9 was 2024 or 2023 of May. And before that was like 2003. So like, how often do you get a chance of that big of a show? Anyway, so I'm sitting here going, oh man, like I I don't have the ring. Like, I can't propose. The ring's not here. I called UPS and, oh, no, sorry, give it 2 weeks. It might show up. So I'm like, okay, the tracking says Florida. Then I refresh and it says Utah. Then I refresh and it says Pennsylvania. And I'm like, okay. So anyways, I was talking to some friends and I'm like, oh man, looking back on it, we met 3 years to the day. I was like, it would have been so perfect. So anyways, my friends kind of talked me into just propose, just do it anyways. You know what? Sure. So I was debating on whether or not it was going to be a ring pop, but I ended up going into town and was able to find, a proper, little stainless steel band, basically. So I got that. I went and bought a box as well, and the place where I was buying it from was like, sorry, we only sell engagement ring boxes if you're buying an engagement ring. So I was able to plead my case, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, we have a box for you. So they pulled out a $20 box and a $30 box and said, which one? And I'm like, I already spent enough on a ring box. Like, I'm good. $20. And then they opened the $30 box and it had a light inside of it. And it turns on as soon as you open the box. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. So I hadn't really planned out the engagement, the planning and all that. I hadn't really talked about it much, but I knew it was going to be under the Aurora because of course it's going to be under the Aurora. So anyways, I buy the box, buy the ring, and all of a sudden I had made a big excuse saying I had to go into town for work and sorry. So yeah, I get home and I start telling Jen every time we go out for the Aurora, I kind of have an idea, right? Like today I really want a foreground. I really want a cool foreground with a winding river. I really want a cool photo of us, right? And I came home and I told her, I was like, I really want a really cool photo of us as a new profile picture. I need a new Facebook profile picture. That's the goal tonight. And I'm like, I want to go all out. Sometimes I'll just throw a headlamp in there and just quickly take the photo, and that's that. Whereas sometimes, go all out with proper lighting and setting everything up. So I'm like, I really, really want a good photo of us under the Aurora with like solid. So anyways, I'm talking this up. So she still to this day says she had no idea it was going to happen. So I had the ring in my backpack and my camera bag, and yeah, so I waited for the Aurora to start dancing. We went out and found some clear skies, and I set up the camera like normal, set up the the lighting like normal, and the only thing I didn't do that was normal was I set up the video camera, and that's something we never do is video ourselves getting behind the scenes, right? That's always just something in your hands. So I knew setting up the video camera would be the first flag in her mind. So I so fast just set up the video camera, and that was that. Like, set it, record, gone. She didn't even realize it was recording. So I set up the video camera, set up the camera, and yeah, I got on one knee and proposed, and she said yes. And then I was able to say, by the way, that's recording. So it's actually all on video as well. And yeah, it was just all around an amazing night. It went viral. The photo did so well. It's on our wall as well. And I mean, I don't know how I'll ever top a photo like that. So yeah, just all around. Like, I don't even think we took many photos beyond this. I brought my laptop because I knew for a fact I'd want to edit the photo, hoping she'd say yes, of course. But I knew I'd want to edit the photo. And yeah, so I brought my laptop, which is something I never do, although at Aurora Chasing, I just wait till I get home to edit. And yeah, I brought my laptop. We sat there and edited the photo and called family and friends, and we're like, the Aurora's still going, but we don't care. We got our photo. We're happy. So yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, that photo is to this date probably one of my better ones.
Maybe the jury's still out, dude.
What do they say? A photo should tell a story. I think that one does it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm putting up here one more time for everybody. You can see the light in the box illuminating the whole area, and
I hate to say it, but the light in the box is what made the photo. And I didn't even think of that. Like, I had comments on that, TikTok, Reel, Instagram, whatever, like on Reddit, and people were like, oh man, you really went all out and planned this so incredibly. And I was like, that morning I didn't know I was gonna propose. And I was like, I bought the ring box for $30 thinking, oh man, I lost the real one. And thankfully the ring did show up the next day. And UPS was like, no, we're gonna send it back. And I was like, please don't. I will be right there. So we were able to go pick it up, and thankfully we have the ring. She wears it, and yeah, it all worked out really well. But yeah, just all around such a cool night and pretty incredible because I've seen lots of Aurora proposals too. And I really wanted ours to be a little bit more unique. Having that purple and the reddish Aurora, that pinkish Aurora, really just it was so unique for us because similar to the show we just had where you don't often see that really bright pink like that. And it worked out so perfectly.
Hmm.
Yeah. Nick, will you pull it up one more time? I
Yep.
think I noticed like man, I'm not done looking at this. There's so much going on here. Obviously that pink is amazing. I love that you can see the pink in the reflection. That was like one of the things that caught my eye. I felt like it was just centered perfectly, and you're right. I think the light from the box is just kind of the icing on the cake. You talk about, auroras being unpredictable and you can plan everything and sometimes you don't get it. I feel like everything just worked out perfectly here, man. Under the circumstances that you were going through, it sounds like these stars aligned just for you and your now wife. And congrats, man. That is just one of the coolest things I've seen. So
Thank
cool.
you. The other one I want to mention too is Nick has seen this firsthand in one of our. You saw it at the start where we're all standing there. Jen and I have an awesome technique where we're with people and we want to get a photo. Right, you silhouette ourselves. And anyway, so what I do is I take my headlamp usually or the lighting of whatever kind we're using, and I'll put it in the photo, and then I'll run back to the camera, and I'll yell at Jen, going, "Okay, to the left slightly, to the right slightly." So I'll have her block the light because you want to silhouette it properly. Well, that's how we've always done it. However, and as you
Whoa.
can see here, Jen's blocking the light because I can't tell if I'm going to block the light properly, right? Because I'm at the camera. So, anyways, I tell Jen, move to the left, move to the right. But I knew for this specific photo that Jen was going to move. So I couldn't have her block the light in this scenario. So I went into that photo knowing full well that the light had to be low and I had to block it with my knee. So that was another thing that I had to really keep in mind there was just that have to block the light properly. Because if that light isn't blocked, it's going to you're not going to see anything basically. It's like a headlight coming at you from a car. So yeah, that was the other part of it too. That was like, sitting here going, how am I going to do this? And I'm like, okay, I really got to plan this out properly. So I don't remember if I did any test shots or anything like that. I was like, oh, I'm going to block the light and kind of set it to a spot where it would work out perfectly.
Man.
Amazing.
Well, and the fun doesn't stop there because you guys did get married and you did also get a wedding photo under the aurora on the actual day. So
Ooh.
I'm going to show that
Yes.
photo here as
Let
well.
me
Can
see.
you
Let
tell
me
us how
see.
that went? Here it goes.
It's actually
No
the next day.
way,
We
bro.
went back. We went back the next night. So
Ah,
we partied a little hard that night. Thankfully, just enjoying the wedding. But this is a pond right beside our house, up in the country, and this pond is called Anderson Pond, and my name is Anderson. And the joke is we own it, but we actually don't. So, anyways, we talked to the neighbors, and it's a little pullout on the side of the road that I told Jen I loved her at. Like it's just such a unique spot in our that's why I bought the house was because this pond and just I love that pond so much. Anyways, so we actually got married right there. We had the ceremony at the pond and it was just a beautiful day. We had the after party, the supper, and everything was at my parents' place out in the country. But yeah, we had everything kind of at that pond and it was all circled around that pond. And I mean, talk about a unique wedding. No one else is gonna have a pond wedding at Anderson Pond. So yeah, we do a lot of aurora chasing there on because it's on easy mode. And the aurora was our photographers for the wedding, or like our closest friends. So, anyways, the next day the aurora data was looking good, and I was like, "Hey guys, the aurora's going to be out tonight," and they had said that they really wanted to get a photo of us under the aurora. So I still had the suit, Jen had her dress, and yeah, we went back to the pond, and it wasn't just a matter of get the photo. We actually brought our little propane fireplace, and we brought our chairs and got some drinks, and we sat around at the pond with my sister and her husband and our Jen's maid of honor and our photographers, just as a big group of people, and just kind of sat around and we're like, we did it. This is awesome. And then the aurora started to come out, so we ran around and took some photos, and just an awesome night all around. Like the memory alone was amazing without the photos, and I mean, the photos are pretty cool too. So that one's going up on the wall right beside the proposal photo.
As it
Yeah,
should.
man. There's I'm a little emotional, man. There's there's so much to unpack here. Um, I kind of want to tie. I want to take a second to tie this into the podcast. I want to steal
Can I
your
mention
thunder just for a bit.
one thing is I should probably mention that photo of us was not taken by me. It was taken by a friend of ours, our photographer, who's filmed by Silas. So they're wedding
W friend.
photographers, and that's probably a fair thing to say is they took the photo. It's their photo, so we paid them for it, but it is there, so it's worth it mentioning who took it. So
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, respect. Um, yeah, man. I just want to make a really quick connection point.
Mhm.
This is why we do the podcast, y'all. In another life, I would not have known you, and it's so crazy to me how everyone shares space and astronomy in their own way. And I'm so grateful that we have crossed timelines, and I now know a friend that has such an incredible story. And ultimately, this is why we do the podcast, is to share stories like this with you guys. Again, astronomy can just come in so many different forms, in shapes and sizes. And Nick and I are just two simple simpletons, doing our best to share stories. But I love that. I would have been really upset if you had just a normal wedding. It truly speaks volumes, the fact that you did it under the northern lights. It shows like it's in your blood, man. It's in both of your guys' blood, and I love that so much. So once again, congratulations. Those were
Thank
some of the
you.
most beautiful photos, and dude, keep on chasing the lights, man.
Always.
Well, as we kind of round third here, what are some things maybe you'd want to give in terms of guidance or inspiration for folks who've now seen Aurora for the first time all around the
Ooh.
world, who are excited to see it again? What might you say to those people?
Remind your neighbors, remind your friends. You know, so many times we go out and see them, and you just go out and you see them alone, but it is pretty special getting to see them with other people and just getting involved. One of the things that I haven't really mentioned this in a long time, but when I first started, I don't remember the first time I saw the Northern Lights. Growing up in Manitoba, it wasn't one of those things that we saw every single night because we lived on the south end of town and bright city lights, and I never really looked up as a kid, right? But I do remember times when be sitting in a hot tub with my family or whatever and looking up and oh, there's the aurora, and I just go, oh, why wasn't it out last night? Weird, right? And so for that reason, I really don't remember the first time I saw the Northern Lights, but I do remember the first time I took other people to see the Northern Lights. For Nick, I got to see your experience with the first real big show. I mean, you got to see that other show, but
Yeah.
getting to see other people experience the aurora is so special. And it's not just the Northern Lights, and I mean the stars. When we have people in our yard, we have no lights close by. So when you walk into our yard, you walk out and like people look up and go, "Wow, this is incredible." And just seeing the emotion on people's faces to see the aurora for the first time or see the stars even in a dark sky is so incredibly powerful that yeah, if you get a chance, whether or not you start to really look into this world and go, I want to understand the data, or I want to take a really solid photo of it, or I want to propose under the aurora, right? Whatever level you are at, whether it's sharing it with other people on social medias, or you're just like, hey, I don't care about social media, but I just want to go out and see it. If you can take other people, whether it's kids, family members, neighbors, friends, whoever, and see it with them, it's just so powerful to be out there. So really just rely on the community. As with any community, there's some outliers here and there, but all in all, the astronomy and the aurora community is so powerful and so good that we all work together, and at the end of the day, it's a success if we've all seen the aurora. So
Mhm.
yeah, use those communities, use those people, and tell me the stories. Like I love getting DMs where people are like, "Hey, I saw it thanks to you," or hey, I saw it thanks to so and so, but like here's some photos that I saw. Send me DMs on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, right? Facebook. Like I will love them. I may not react to all of them, but I do see most of them, and like I love to see, you know, people just tell their stories. Like I've had people stop me at a gas station and go, "Are you the Aurora guy?"
No
Like
way.
I saw the Aurora for the first time because of you, and I'm like,
Wow.
I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, hearing these stories are just so powerful. And yeah, and I mean the Aurora can mean anything, right? The Aurora can be spiritual to you. The Aurora can be so much other things, whether it's just pretty lights in the sky that are dancing and pretty, or whether or not it's, you know, ancestors, or whether it's your spiritual. Like there's so much different ways to perceive the Aurora, that instead of just saying, oh, you know, that's whatever, I love to hear it and go, that's how you think the Aurora is. Well, that's beautiful. This, you know, this is how I see it, this is how you see it. And it's such a beautiful thing that it brings people together as well. There's not a whole lot of things where it's 100% beautiful. Like you can look at something and go, you know, some people can look at some things and go that there's a negative to it. Really, the Aurora is just such a beautiful thing that every time I see it, it just takes my breath away. And honestly, in most of my videos, the reason there's no audio is because I'm pretty much saying, wow.
It's
So yeah,
like Owen Wilson on repeat. Wow.
exactly. I think we need to make a recap of just a bunch of videos, because I think I say wow or look at that, look up. You know, and the other thing I like to say too is put the camera away for a minute. Um,
Mm.
the world is so focused on photos, and it's such a beautiful thing, because when you look back in the 1800s, there wasn't a million photos. You had, you know, a family photo and that's it. And it's really, really cool to look back, you know, in 30 years and be like, these are all my photos I just took that day, or, you know, vlogged or whatever you did. But I really like, I've done a lot of tours, and the first thing I like to tell people is just put the phone away for a second. For myself, I sit there and I'm going to video it. You know, if I'm with a crew of people who are, you know, whether they're paying to see the Aurora, whether they're, you know, out there just enjoying it with me, I have my video camera rolling and I have my photos rolling, and I'm happy to share those photos. Like they're going on Facebook, you know, like if you want to use them for a magazine, maybe we'll talk. But you know, those photos are there so for you to share and use. But ultimately, when you're looking through your phone or through a camera, you don't get to experience the Aurora to its full potential. So I really love to tell people just to put the camera away for a minute. And that goes for not just the Northern Lights, but just everything in life. Take a minute to just enjoy it, especially when the Aurora is so bright, so colorful. Put the phone away, because it's really going to take away your vision, the night vision. And just if the Aurora is spiraling overhead, just lay down on the ground and look straight up, because
Mm.
it's such a cool experience. And yeah, you might not be able to get to share it as often, but you got to experience it.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Mhm.
Share the views with a friend. Put your phone away for a little bit and soak it in. That's something I often just forget to do because I'm so in the moment. But
We're the worst for it, because every day we are on our phones, on our video, taking videos, trying to capture it for social media, and I do want to capture it because I do want to share it to the people that can't see it. Right? I really want to make sure the Aurora is free and accessible to everybody. Sure, you can pay for a trip to go up north. Sure, you can pay for guiding services, but ultimately, the Aurora is one of the unique things in this world, similar to the stars, where you don't need to pay a cent to get out there. You could walk in the, you know, out there and see the Aurora and not pay a dime. So my goal from day one has always been to keep the Aurora free and accessible for absolutely everybody. No gatekeeping. You don't have to pay a subscription fee to go see it. You know, you don't get free and then all of a sudden an ad pops up. So it's 100% free and accessible.
that would
So
suck to have to
um,
skip an ad to look at the Aurora.
pay
No.
pay $2.99 and we'll show it. But and then this also came around during COVID too, right? Is when the Aurora the excitement really took off, because people were locked up and you got to experience the Aurora in your backyard for free. Just yeah, take it in. If you think you're in an area that doesn't get to see the Aurora, El Salvador saw the Aurora on Tuesday. So think again. Yeah, you're definitely going to be in a spot where you might see the Aurora if you can get north, if it's possible. But ultimately, it's free, it's there. go and enjoy it. And if someone tells you you have to go pay to see it, then don't listen to them.
Well said.
Yep. And then also,
Well,
if you can't see it for yourself, come check out our Facebook page. Check out the group. There's so many groups out there that, if you think I'm a good photographer, I'm nothing compared to all these other photographers that some of them are just Joe Blow that takes photos, and every time they took a photo is just incredible. So some of those
mhm.
photos are just some of these people that take photos are incredible. And one of my favorite photos in the community is from someone who took it with their cell phone and just ran into their backyard and took it. And it's an old barn with a horse in front of it. And I'm like, that's beautiful. I'm like, I would have paid to go take photos of that. So ultimately, if you can't see it for yourself, whether you're in a spot that you can't see it or whether you physically can't go see it, check out these groups and check out our pages, because if you can't see it for yourself, that's why we're there. We're there to share it.
Well, Justin, your heart is in the right place, and your love for what you do transcends international borders, the internet, and time itself, like without a doubt. And we're glad to be able to call you our friend, and for many of us, and us included, our mentor on this topic. It's an incredible pleasure to know you. You're a great human being, and I am glad to say that I have a lovely friend to the north in Canada. I'm very proud to be able to say that. You guys have always treated us well, and I can't wait to keep talking with you and get to enjoy some more Aurora with
Roar
you.
Trip
In the
2.0
future.
for both of you guys.
Yeah, please. I'm ready.
And yes, if you guys come up, I'll cover the Tim Hortons. I'll get us
Yes,
some coffees,
yes. Give me them Timbits, dude.
What's poutine too?
Okay, yeah,
Cover the
yeah,
poutine.
we can discuss.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for just an awesome podcast and trying to spread the joy of the Aurora, but also just the night sky. And I mean, such a cool thing to have the community that you guys have built and the people out there. And I mean, these comments, I can't even keep up with them because there's so many. But yeah, just awesome to have, talking about the stars and the night sky and just advocating for it and really trying to make people enjoy it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's
Thank
a good
you,
thing.
man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Well,
again.
yep. Well, take it easy, Justin. We'll see you soon, brother.
Take care.
All right. Bye. Dude, another one. Another awesome, fantastic guest. Episode 62.
I agree. I just want to relive Tuesday night just for a few more minutes, man, in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to experience the Aurora, but it's also even cooler to know a little bit about what's going on. I feel like most of us, whenever we see these lights, um, there's obviously, the beauty aspect to it. Like, oh, it's so pretty. But to know what the heck's actually going on gives it a whole different dimension. And for me, it just makes me appreciate Earth, our planet, our home, just that much more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, awesome to have Justin kind of fill us in on like what's happening and also share his incredible story.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he's a true gem, and it's heartwarming to know that there are people out there doing such incredible things, and what a privilege it is to know someone who is doing said things.
Mhm.
It's fantastic, and it is making me look forward to the next show. There's, like you said, it's not a matter of if, it is when, and I want to get plugged into a community. I never really thought about the Facebook community side of things. I think a lot of our generation maybe has kind of moved away from Facebook. But honestly, he's right. Like, it's such a phenomenal tool, and it's still there. And I think there is sort of a neat community aspect that Facebook still has. And I think I'm going to go searching for something in my area so I can get some more, in the moment updates whenever these big shows come along. And I like that sort of relay. It's sort of like an outpost or a scouting relay of information. Hey, the storms are up here, well, it's moving here, well, now it's moving here. And these people with kind of these eyewitness reports are infinitely more reliable than some clickbait social media channel that doesn't know what they're actually talking about. So I feel energized to go even deeper into the Aurora scene and be more informed next time around, a little less
Same.
guessing.
Yeah, same here, man. I might have to. I don't think I would say this, but I might have to reinstall Facebook.
Yeah. Wake it up from its slumber.
Yeah, yeah.
Dang. Well, you guys, everyone who's been tuning in live, we're grateful you're all here. We know it's a little bit different again for season 3, where we're not entirely able to keep up with you guys, but we're so glad that you continue the conversation in the chat. We want to spend a special thank you to our mods for helping facilitate the conversation in the chat. Thank you all so much for that. We also saw some support coming in the form of supers and some, I think so, re-ups or not a re-up, but like a celebration of some existing memberships. All of those things are completely optional, but we love the support if you guys choose to do so to help keep the show alive and functioning. Every little penny matters. So thank you all so much. Let's do a quick shout out here. Lilac Child giving us a $3 super sticker.
Hey.
We got Tamara celebrating her 6th month as a channel member. That's fantastic.
Mhm.
Then oh, that's a question. That's weird. It gave me that in the wrong thing. Here we go. Why is it popping up? Okay, never mind. I'm clicking the wrong things. SoCal Gloria, our friend out west, dropping a $4.99, and Richard Jones here dropping in a $5. All of you appreciated.
You guys rock.
Thank you. Yeah, dude, 62 in the books.
62 in the books.
Mm-hmm. So, you guys, we stream live on YouTube here every Monday night, 9 p.m. Central Time. Episode 63 coming up next week. Goodness, this Thanksgiving week. That
Oh my
is
God.
November
It is.
24th. So we'll be right back here. Next week will be Tan and myself. We'll be discussing some more space and astronomy. So if you guys have questions or topics you're interested in learning about, be sure to connect with us on social media. You can find Tan at Chasing the Milk, and you can find me at the Orbital Alliance, or you can see right here on the screen. And if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, be sure you come back onto YouTube and check out the video version, because we did show some visuals that you're not going to want to miss. You probably heard them and wondering, what the heck are they talking about? Light in a box and aurora and weddings. Go back and watch the video, because they are stunning photography. And if you want to connect with Justin, I've dropped his social medias in the description of the video, so you can talk to him as well.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I want to highlight this real quick and just maybe add a little something before we hop off here. I love this so much, man. I appreciate it. Man, you need to know you checked off an important bucket list for me. Yeah, I think he might be referring to the Aurora live stream that we did on Tuesday night. And by the way, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who submitted photos for the Aurora. I said I would feature them, and that's the plan. So we are going to put up some photos of some of you guys that submitted them on TikTok. So just a huge shout out to everyone that did that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support.
Dan, I just gotta ask though, did you throw music under that, or do you want to play it now as we just talk and wrap up the show?
Yeah, let's play it up.
Okay, I'm gonna roll it here. So you guys enjoy these views in a video form of these user submitted photos of the Aurora. Here we go. Check it out. We're just gonna roll through the slideshow. Dude, it's amazing. We kind of were talking about just taking your phone out and you're able to capture images. People, unlike ever before, have had this opportunity to image Aurora from themselves. I was next to some people who'd never seen it last week, and they couldn't believe that their little phone camera could get a phenomenal picture.
Yeah, that man, I just want to touch on that a little bit more, because I lost count of how many people were like, "Oh, I didn't know I could actually see this," and then they showed a photo. And during the live stream, I was so overwhelmed with so many people wondering if they can do it, and I was just trying to drill in everyone's head. I'm like, I don't know if you can go. I don't know if you can see it from your state. Why don't you just go out and actually look? Go outside and look. And these photos here are the people that did that. These are the people that went out, took the initiative. I love that photo so much.
Mm-hmm.
That was a screenshot of me during the stream. But yeah, these people went out and did the work, and here's the proof. So incredible. I know a lot of these were first timers. So if you guys submitted a photo, again, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your galactic window. This is something that is that's Tiffy's clouds from Oregon. I just had to throw that to add salt to the wound. Um, Pouring a drink for everyone who was clouded out that night. But
Mhm.
yeah, just absolutely, absolutely amazing.
You know what I love is just that all these people that you have featured here in this video, the odds that every single one of them will ever meet in person is slim to none. Because I don't know how many are in here, 100, something like that. But the fact that all of them are united by a single strand. Oh my gosh, that one's awesome. Like MS Paint.
Yeah, still counts. Still
Yeah.
counts.
But the fact that every single one of them are united by this string known as the Northern Lights, the Aurora, right now, they're all tied together in this crossroads because of this one thing. They get to touch another human somewhere else, and share in that experience. It's incredibly powerful, and it's available to every single one of us, and it's free. It's totally free.
Right, you are, Nick. Right, you are.
Dude, well done. Thank you for preparing that video,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. Once again, thank you to the community for everyone who submitted it. I wish we could take a little bit more time to just stare at each one, but there's just so many. But thank you guys once again.
Mhm. All right, you guys, kind of went over the thank yous, but again, just have to be gracious or what's the word? Grateful. I was like, what is that
Bruh.
proper? Yeah, I know, right? I have to be grateful for everyone who's tuned in tonight. Thank you so much. Again, we'll be back next Monday night, and you know the drill. We will see you all on the other side.